Is a bailout for insurers coming? The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services sending a letter to state insurance commissioners giving them guidance on implementing Obama's new fix for the millions of folks who have lost coverage, 5 million. A vague statement towards the end of the letter tells insurers they could have access to more taxpayer funds. Should you be worried? Joining me now, Rich Lowry, editor for the National Review. So everybody's using this weird phrase, risk corridor. Yeah. But what it boils down to is they found some money somewhere to give insurers to make them whole with this whole change in the policy this week. Tell us how it would work.
Yeah, because no one knows how these exchanges are going to work in the best of circumstances and what the risk pool is going to look like. There's a provision in the law that says if you're an insurer and your estimate of cost comes in under what you think it would be, you give money to HHS. On the other hand, if your estimate is too low and your costs are higher, then HHS gives money to you. And the idea is that ideally this balances out. So some insurers that are lucky are bailing out the insurers that are unlucky. But there's no provision in the law that limits the HHS payments. So if the exchanges are really failing, if the risk pool is very bad and is costing insurance companies a lot of money, it's all going to basically come from HHS.
Well, now here's the problem with that, though. See, these insurers are already getting $1 trillion in subsidies as it is for this program. So now we've created a situation where we're not just helping people get insurance coverage and putting out money in subsidies to the American people. We're also giving subsidies to the insurance industry,
well,
too.
This has been one of the dirty secrets of this law for all along. It's a huge payoff to the insurance companies. And it probably wouldn't have passed, Jerry, in the first place if the insurance companies hadn't gotten in bed with the president and been on board with this law. So now the administration is in this very delicate dance, where yesterday you see the president basically throw the insurers under the bus and saying, look, if they're cancellations, it's not on me, it's not on my law, and left unstated, it's on the insurance companies. At the same time, they need the insurance companies to believe in these exchanges and to be invested in these exchanges and to still be on board. And that's why the letter has this very suggestive line. Remember the risk corridors.
Well, I'm going to read that right now.
Okay.
So here's what the letter says. Though this transitional policy was not anticipated by health insurance issuers when setting rates in 2014, the risk corridor program, this is the money program, should help ameliorate unanticipated changes in premium revenue. We intend to explore ways to modify the risk corridor program final rules to provide additional assistance for you folks out there who aren't making enough money as it is.
That's the key line, and that's the way, right at the end, and that's the way they've treated this law all along. It's a playpen that just allows them to do whatever they want with the American health insurance market.
How is this even legal? Because it seems to me that at the margins, the president keeps changing the program, his own program, Obamacare, which had to go through Congress to get approved. How can he keep changing things?
He shouldn't be able to. And yesterday, the justification, although they haven't made a formal legal justification for what he did, but what they basically say is it's just the executive exercising its discretion not to enforce the law. I don't get that, though, because part of the policy announced yesterday requires insurers to send out letters to people. How can you, through a non-action, require people to do something? So, I mean, this is just executive overreach, and it's undemocratic at its core. And a lot of the law, a lot of it's on Congress because it's written so vaguely. And the risk corridor is one of those provisions where it's just a pot of money, basically. And what they're saying in that letter, we're going to go on that pot of money and make sure we give as much of it to you as possible to keep you on board.
To keep you on board. There are some folks that are not on board anymore, and a lot of them are Democrats. You probably noticed today when there was a vote in the House for the Republican bill proposed by Fred Upton, a lot of Democrats climbed on board. What do you make of that?
39. It's a pretty high number. That says to me, if the president hadn't come out yesterday with a so-called fix, it would have been 70, 80, 90, 100. And if that had happened, he would have seen the shattering of his political coalition for this law on Capitol Hill, and he just couldn't let that happen. So therefore, he goes to this fix, which throws the whole law up in the air. It complicates the relationship with the insurers. So he's putting the ultimate success of the law, not that the prospects are great there, at risk for the short-term political imperative on the Hill of suppressing that Democratic vote. But there's still almost 40 of them.
Unbelievable. Thanks for coming on the show tonight. Great to see you,
Thanks,
Rich.
Jerry.
Now we want to know what you think. Here's our question tonight. Should health insurers be bailed out? Log on to jerrywillits.com. Vote on the right-hand side of the screen. I'll share the results at the end of tonight's show.